How to understand wokeness. What does it mean to be woke? What is the woke left? Okay, I'll make it simple. Many people have tried to define it. I disagree with all of them. I think when you look across the media spectrum, you see wokeness represents the social orthodoxy of the left in this country. What does it mean to be woke? It means to have a cult-like adherence to left liberal social orthodoxy. Thank you and have a nice day. That's been my TED Talk. Here's an example. I saw this tweet from Matt Walsh mocking this woman. Woman warns against the dangerous phenomenon that is, quote, trapped water. I've never thought about this. Yeah. This lady thinks that water in water bottles is trapped forever and it's being ripped from the supply and we're doomed. This is a component of what makes wokeness. There is a derangement, a lack of lucidity. A person says something nonsensical and then they throw it out into the left liberal social space. If the idea percolates, it becomes prominent. If it does not, it disappears. There are many insane ideas among the woke left. This is why they support things that seemingly make no sense. Why they claim to hate the military-industrial complex, but are absolutely in favor of the war in Ukraine. Now, that whole era is kind of going away. But a good example, my favorite, is that blonde-haired, blue-eyed Luke Rudkowski is a person of color. Well, that's right. He's Polish. And according to the Coalition of Communities of Color, Slavic Eastern Europeans are people of color. You see, these are nonsensical ideas. But when you entertain the crackpottery of the woke left, you have to then follow some kind of logic. So when they say oppressed people are people of color, how could they not claim that blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people are people of color? Well, let's go through some of these examples. This one's really, really fun. One TikToker recently created a video titled "Free the Water" to inform her viewers of the dangers of trapped water and the need to dump out liquids contained in plastic bottles that aren't going to be used. I'm on this quest to dump out any water that gets trapped in plastic, Katie told her followers, because once it's trapped in these plastic bottles, we have now lost it basically forever. Okay, here's the point. This is psychotic nonsense. People make things up to get attention on social media. There you go. If the woke left attaches to the idea, this is what happens. That's why the ideas are amorphous and seem to make no sense, and they're outraged over whatever. Now, it's exploited by certain causes, like pro-Hamas causes and things like this. And I suppose there are going to be people who say, like, what about the right wing? Well, there's certainly people on the right who do this. The problem is the right is a large umbrella. Libertarians, post-liberal, conservative, and even fringe far-right authoritarians. And they don't all agree. The left marches in lockstep. So if someone came and said something like, hey, Tim, look at the Covington kids, which they did, and conservatives were criticizing these kids, what happens? Other elements of the quote unquote anti-left or right are like, no, I don't see what you're seeing, because we scrutinize it and challenge it. On the left, they don't. Once it's trapped in bottles, oh boy. According to the Texas Water Quality Association, trapped water is indeed a big problem. Oh, geez. In the U.S. alone, we waste 22 million gallons of water each year in landfills due to trapped water inside plastic water bottles. The organization wrote on the QWET website that is 22 million gallons of water that we will never get back into the Earth's water cycle. Water bottles may not biodegrade, but they do break down, and they will break and crack. It is, but yes, I think I would go to this organization and say, oh, okay, 22 million gallons of water. It's not there forever, okay? So fair, if you're concerned these water bottles are bad. Many of the water in landfills gets crushed, in fact. But water gets trapped in a lot of places in a lot of ways, and we're not crying about it. More water is trapped in, underground reserves that we'll never see again. I think it's silly and absurd, and it's part of this whole we have to come up with something to be complaining about. The organization went on to point out that fresh water makes up an extremely small fraction of the water on the earth. Blah, 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 blah. Tons of comments. It's wild. I've never thought about this. Wow, you're so right. Wasting fresh water sucks. But the issue is that water's in a cycle. And desalination, whatever they want to call it, not the answer. It's not. It's a potential for bringing water to areas with low water, but it's expensive and it's not going to be the answer. The issue is there's a certain amount of water that can be in circulation. There's a potential for overpopulation, and that water will then exist in humans. But the water is excreted, goes into the atmosphere, and it moves around. I think these people are being silly. But this is my point. I don't really care so much about the whole water argument, fine, whatever, trapped water. We also saw this story earlier in the week about the kid wearing blackface. Deadspin says the NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface, native headdress. They're doubling up on the racism. Are you going to say anything, Roger Goodell? You see, this is what they do. They make things up, put them online, and hope it catches. Why does it not work so well on the right? Because we scrutinize. As it turns out, the kid was actually wearing red and black face paint, to which the writer, Karen Phillips, a guy, he's a funny Karen, said, that makes it worse because it's Native American. Turns out the kid's actually Native American. His grandfather is actually on the council of a Native American tribe. Yo, crazy. The kid's actually at least a quarter. That's a substantial amount. Native American. They got a photo of his grandpa on this tribal council or something like that. And the dude's Native American. So here's a kid who is a Chiefs fan, who is wearing the colors of the Chiefs team on his face, wearing a headdress for which he is himself a Native American, and he gets roasted for it. This is wokeness. But I tell you, my friends, the reason why I started this with the weird water bottle thing is to show you that wokeness is dying. We all know about Disney whinging. Oh no, our politics is costing us money. Yeah, well, too bad. That's your fault. We've all heard about that. And now we see this. The desperation to find something to complain about. It's not there. Now it's overt when it comes to a kid who they accuse of wearing blackface when he's not. And I want to stress too, painting your face black isn't blackface. Blackface was when they did a whole lot more than that. And I'm fine if you're offended by it. It's not appropriate. No problem. Things can be offensive and we can say as a society, oh, we're not going to do that, okay? Because you try to be polite. But y'all take it too far. And that's what wokeness is. It is a cult-like adherence to the leftist social orthodoxy. And when they try to cancel this kid and it fails, and the Chiefs come out and say, Native American kid and fan, they push back on the woke attempts and say, nah, we ain't doing this anymore. So what do you get? The video of the lady with the trapped water is an example of an attempt to make some fake cause. There is no cause about emptying water bottles. Are you nuts? I'd be more concerned with glass water bottles. Water is trapped. Water is trapped in a lot of places underground. So stupid. That is not our concern. We do have a concern over plastics and leaching. That I'll give you. You shouldn't drink plastic water bottles. Actually, across the table, we have our glass water bottles. We got a couple of them. Here's what we do. I'm concerned about plastic pollution. Don't like it. I don't like pollution. So we stopped buying plastic water bottles. Actually, I think we still do have some, but we drastically reduced it. I want to be careful here. Because if you want to drink it, fine. Plastic water bottles leach weird chemicals into the water. And some think that's causing endocrine disruption. So I don't want to drink that. Okay. We buy glass water bottles, which we can reuse. Why? It's cheaper. We have a filter. We have a double. We have a two 9-stage filtration system. And then we fill up our own glass water bottles because it's effectively free. Now, I get it. It costs us like a nickel per month for the electricity to pump the water out of the well and through the filter. And then once a year or whatever, we have the filters completely replaced. Actually, I don't even know if that's correct. It may be more than that. But we have a company that comes out and checks periodically. And I'd rather not buy the plastic and have it leach into my drinks. Even canned drinks. This is crazy. Canned drinks have plastic liners. That's gross. So you think you're buying a metal can. You're not. Anyway, welcome to your brave new world. There will always be some messed up cause for these desperate attention-seeking egotists to try and make some kind of activist issue. But the point is, it's not working anymore. The attempt to cancel a kid backfires. So what do you get? You get garbage articles. Kid you not, someone wrote an article about this lady being like, trapped water is a huge problem. We must empty the water bottles. Okay, whatever, dude. How about we just crush garbage? Most of it gets crushed. There are concerns, I guess, about water being trapped. So stupid. They're going to try and find something to complain about no matter what it is we do. But again, they try the racism stuff and it worked for a while and now we're just so over it. So now you're seeing a glimpse of what is more to come. Water bottles. Uh-huh. Next, they're going to be like, your shoelaces need to be taken off your shoes because you get... Okay. Listen, how about this? How about we try to be genuinely good stewards of the earth, to live comfortably and peacefully and sustain this planet, but recognize not everything needs to be some insane cause. You know what I think? Y'all need religion. Seriously. They need something to believe in, because this is nuts. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.